Welcome to Under the Microscope. This series is brought to you by the Real Scientists Nano team. Our goal is to provide a platform where scientists can communicate their work and interact with the public. With that in mind, every week we introduce you to a scientist working in the field of materials and nanoscience, who would be curating the RealSci_Nano Twitter account. Hi everyone, today we have with us Sherif Abbas, who is a postdoctoral research fellow at the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology in Australia. Hi Sherif, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, ready to take a deep dive into your research.
Let's
So
go.
let's start with your scientific journey. So could you tell us how did you end up in your current research field?
I've always been, passionate about physics, even though I had a small, not a short detour. It was a long detour into the private sector. But then at some point in time, I was doing well actually, as a programmer and as an IT consultant. But then when I got the PhD, when I got the opportunity to do PhD in Australia, there was no choice for me. I immediately took this opportunity and then landed on a PhD scholarship in the University of Sydney. And that was basically the start of getting things official, my relationship official with academia. Before that, it was like, me just in love with academia. Nothing much. I did some publications after my master's degree, but I was very busy with, my work. But then, that it really started when I got the PhD in Sydney. Yeah.
Okay, and then you stayed. You stayed with the postdocs and
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how's your relationship with physics going now? Is it going strong?
Maybe we'll. Um, I love physics, and I'm always seeing myself as a physicist, even though I'm at the school that's the School of Chemistry, or it's actually the Applied Chemistry in RMIT, School of Science in RMIT. I mean, even though I work with chemists, inside me there's a big physicist, a theoretical physicist, actually. Yeah,
Theoretical physicist at
yeah,
heart. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, so where does, I mean, this is it's really nice. A theoretical physicist at heart with a core at core and with a covering of in a chemistry department, so to say.
That's fun. Yeah.
So where do you think, or where do you see your current research fitting in this big domain of materials or nanoscience? I mean, you
Yeah.
already spoke a little bit about it in the short
Yeah.
podcast, but
Yeah.
where do you see it fitting?
Uh, Owing to the nature of my work, it's been so diverse into so many things. So maybe I'll just focus on a few things. Let me just funnel down my work into three things that fit in this whole big picture. I'm very excited about how materials emit light. So materials have colors, and that's an optical property of materials. That when you say this material is blue, that's basically you're speaking about its optical properties. That's like the scientific terminology, for saying it's just blue, it's the optical properties. I like studying optical properties, in particular the properties when materials emit light. When you take a material, shine some light on it, and then it emits light with certain properties. And I'm more interested in materials that emit not a large number of photons. I'm interested in materials that emit just a single photon, because these materials are very, very exciting for people who are doing quantum computing, quantum information, and all that sort of quantum stuff. My research is the theoretical aspect of this class of materials. So that's one thing.
Right.
Using material science or computational material science, in particular DFT, in order to study and examine and predict the properties of these materials, predict or discover new materials that have exciting, quantum emission properties or light emission properties. Now, the other thing is I've talked about DFT like this in the previous podcast. The other aspect of my research is trying to fix DFT itself. DFT, like I said, has issues. So we need to work on these issues so that experimentalists, can believe us. I've heard it from many experimentalists saying that, hey, your stuff, guys, are so inconsistent. I would see this paper reporting this property with DFT and this other paper reporting a completely different number, and then so I mean, you guys, you got to agree at least amongst yourself. And then, so one of the key things that I've been working on DFT is trying to, we theoreticians agree a little bit amongst us, trying to improve our approaches and benchmark our approaches, and trying to make DFT more accurate and more generic so that you can apply it for a larger set of applications. So that's the other thing. Uh, 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 the third aspect of my research is using machine learning to help DFT, because after all, DFT takes doing a DFT calculation takes a lot of time and a lot of computational resources. It's not something that you can just do on your desktop, right? But then if you're able to express the problem that you have as a machine learning problem, machine learning can actually solve your problem in seconds on an i5 Intel i5 computer. So I've been trying to work in this direction. It's basically those three aspects where I fit into the big fabric of material science research.
Okay, okay. I think I understand your research slightly better now because I've been an experimentalist myself in my past life when I was an active researcher. So yeah, it all sounds super interesting and exciting, and I look forward to learning more about it when you're curating the account.
Thanks.
And it also sounds to me that you have been involved during your career and also right now you have been involved in some really exciting research projects. And this question is difficult, I know, before I ask it. I know it's difficult, but if you have to pick one project that you're most proud of or an experiment that you're most proud of, most fun one or quirky one, could you pick one? I know it's tough, and explain it to us in super simple words in the section we call In Other Words.
It's super tough.
I know. Sorry.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, let me just pick one. I'll just use a coin. There are two projects. I'm gonna toss the coin here. Okay, so just hold on a second. I lost the coin. Can I talk about the two projects? No, I'm kidding. Okay, I didn't lose the coin. I wasn't tossing a coin. I'm just gonna choose that project that's that I really like, which is predicting the light emission, the single photon emission from boron nitride from a two-dimensional material or a 2D material. So it was a project I did at UTS, University of Technology Sydney, in 2017. I published it in Nanoscale. It has been attracting a lot of attention by experimentalists and by theoreticians. So it's one project where it was an amazing experience. It's a project that had, I was the first author, but we also had experimentalists. They gave us really special measurements which really supported the theoretical work that we had. An amazing team, on this paper. So yeah, that's the one that I'm really proud of.
Okay. That's
on the coin, the other side of the coin. There is that other. No, I'm kidding. There's just go on.
Okay, thank you for doing this tough job and putting narrowing it down to one project. It does sound super interesting. What I do also want to talk about, Sherif, is like the other aspects of an academic's life. One is doing the science, of course, but then the other aspect is also teaching the next generation of scientists. So, do you teach? And if you do, which courses would you like to mention?
I taught the physics of semiconductors. It was a course in School of Physics at UTS, and I taught inorganic chemistry at the School of Chemistry in RMIT. So, but still, they gave me that course because there's more physics in it than chemistry, and I was really glad. But it was a physicist talking during these lectures. So, and I really wish that the students have enjoyed it.
It
Yeah,
was a physicist talking about chemistry all along. Oh my God.
imagine.
That's cool, for sure. And did you enjoy teaching? Do you enjoy that?
I love teaching. Teaching is my thing. I also teach Python programming as well. So I like teaching, but I like teaching science way more than anything else.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's really nice. I think it's always good to have uh, people who like teaching and enjoy teaching, actually teaching, rather than people who do not enjoy teaching,
Yeah,
having to teach. So
yeah,
it's good to know that you enjoy teaching, because then that way everyone is happy. It's a win-win for students, for university, and also for you.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so let's move on a bit to zoom out a bit and go to your research experience so far. And I hope your research experience has been wonderful and will continue to be wonderful in the future as well.
yeah,
However, if you had three wishes to improve your research experience, what
yeah.
would you ask for? And I'm not promising anything here, okay?
Oh, okay, thanks. I thought you were promising. Okay, whatever. Okay. Can I talk about four wishes though, or it has to be three wishes like the Alibaba or the
No, you can't have three wishes and the last wish. No, it's three wishes.
three
Uh,
wishes? Okay.
yeah.
Okay. The first wish is that those wishes are really to improve my research experience and for me to continue, doing my research output. Um, I need an ongoing position in academia. That's my first wish.
Mhm.
Uh, I know it's tough times for everyone. A lot of people are leaving their jobs. A lot of people are being redundant. So I know it's not the best time, to to wish for that. But it's a wish. You said it's a wish, right? So
It's a
it's a
wish.
wish.
Yes.
I'm just wishing.
It
And
comes.
the second wish, which is it's second but not less important, is I need a continuing position in academia. That's my second wish. Okay. Now, so having those two wishes achieved, one of them is fine. The
Mhm.
third wish is to sustain my work. I need funding.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh, d- you know, uh, People who do material science, theoretical material science, usually struggle a bit more in getting their papers accepted in Nature and Science,
Mhm.
and and this reflects on them not being able to get as much money, research funding, as people doing experiments. So
Mhm.
I really, it would be great, to have this experience, to have a wish like that, achieved at some point in the future. Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's my three wishes.
Those are your three wishes. Okay. You mentioned that you hope to have like an ongoing researcher position. Do you want to stay in Melbourne then, or are you open to also like all over the world? You're just putting it out there.
I mean, maybe if I'm open to the world, I would find positions in different places in Australia. But the thing is, my wife is doing PhD in Melbourne Uni, so I have to stay in Melbourne Uni. Yeah.
Okay, okay. It's gonna be Melbourne Uni until
Yeah.
the near future at least. Okay,
That's
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And regarding the funding, I do have a question for you. This might sound like a very naive question, but other than the personal and all the funding you need to keep the lights on, keep the group going, the salaries and overheads and
Yeah.
everything, what else does a theoretical physicist need funding for? Of course, the softwares, I'm assuming. What else do you need? And publishing papers and stuff. But
Yeah.
could you talk a little bit about that?
For theoreticians, we need computing power. We use the density function theory or molecular dynamics or any of those other theoretical methods, like
Mm-hmm.
people who model the drug design, or people who do COVID modeling, for example, or people who do molecular electronics or any of that, whether in research or industry. What
Mm-hmm.
we do is we run a lot of heavy calculations, calculations that would take days to finish. Personal computers are no good for these calculations, so we need supercomputing access. We need access to supercomputers. Supercomputers are available everywhere in the world. So in Australia, for example, there is national computing infrastructure, which is pretty generous with the supercomputing resources that they provide to researchers. We don't have to pay any money. We just have to be affiliated to an institution that has access to NCI, that national computing infrastructure, and then we can get access to the supercomputer. Without access to supercomputer, the only thing to do is to buy time from like AWS, Amazon Cloud, or Google Cloud, but that's no one can afford that.
Okay.
As a researcher, if researchers in continuing positions in Australia and everywhere, they are able to get access to computers. Like for example, I applied for access in the United States, and I applied for access here, in Australia. It's something, it's routine. It's something that we have access to. So that's why I didn't mention it in the wishes. Because, it's I already have a lot of computational resources available to me.
Right, right, right. That makes sense. Yeah, it's interesting. I never thought about it, but that's really interesting. And I wish I could just grant all your wishes with like,
Oh
okay,
yeah,
you're getting the
come on.
long-term contract, you're getting the funding.
You raised my hopes high.
I'm
And,
sorry, I'm sorry. But I would like to believe that all your wishes, all three of your wishes will come through soon enough in the near future. And speaking of future, what are you most looking forward to in the next 3 months?
there's this one paper that I submitted to Physical Review B. It's been with the referees for quite a long time. It's my
Okay.
own paper. I'm the sole author on it, so it's
Okay.
very personal to me, and I'm really waiting for this paper to get accepted. That's the only thing. I mean, I've been waiting for COVID to be over, for the vaccine to be out, and for my to be able to enjoy, the summer. We call it summer here in Melbourne, by the way. I know it's winter in in Germany, but to enjoy December, without any lockdown, without any COVID. But the thing that I check before my email every morning is the submission status of that paper. I mean, that other referee, I mean, I just want to tell, come on, man, or come on, lady, I'll just finish that paper. Just, submit your review response and get things going.
Get it over with. End this wait. Yeah, that makes sense. I hope it comes. It sounds like a wish to me. That just publish it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Super. Sounds good. Sounds good. So I enjoyed talking to you, Sherif. And before I let you go, I do have one last question for you,
Sure.
which is, in your opinion, what do you think are the big challenges faced by the field of materials or nanoscience?
Yeah, that's a difficult question for me. I've been sitting in one little aspect in material science for quite a long time, so
Okay.
I sometimes lose track of. Well, there are many challenges that are. I mean, if in my point of view, challenges where experimentalists do crazy things, amazing things, but they don't understand them. Um, for example, 3D metal printing has been quite a big deal, in experimental material science, additive
Mhm.
manufacturing, 3D printing, and all that stuff. Not plastic 3D printing. I mean, metal 3D printing. But a
Right.
lot of the phenomena, a lot of the engineering activity that has been going on, isn't really supported by atomistic material science modeling for two
Mhm.
reasons. One reason is engineers are running the show, and they want results, and the private sector has been helping them, sell products, and that's
Mhm.
like the best thing ever that would happen to engineers.
Mhm.
So they don't have much time for theoreticians, to come up with insights. The
Mhm.
other reason is theoreticians don't have much insights. It's a very complex phenomenon,
Right.
or range phenomena. And I'm just giving an example, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
um, you know, uh, modeling materials in fascinating, applications. Sometimes we just don't have the right models. There's many examples I've been like collaborating with a lot of material scientists in a lot of research avenues, and I've been seeing this. We've, for example, neuromorphic systems or artificial brains. Um, it's an ongoing theme where in published papers where you find a paper that has been, I don't know, rushed, or has a short report on an amazing discovery of an artificial synaptic junction, or or a material that can think like, or can function like a nerve cell in our brain, so that people can assemble into an actual artificial brain. So things happen in these materials that we don't have, there is no understanding of what's going on. I think this is troubling in many aspects, because we do need to have solid ground, of what's going on. We need to have insight using the available theoretical methods, whether you agree with some of the conclusions of those theoretical methods or not. At least getting some insight is a big benefit to everyone, and it actually propels the cycle of discovery, having solid grounding, solid understanding of what's going on. So I think that is one of the things, building more confidence in theory, and also funding more development of theory. Building the confidence in, experimentalists need to be more confident in theory, and theoreticians need to have better theories. I think that's yeah, I think that's it, basically. Yeah.
Okay. That's quite a complicated challenge, and it's great that you pointed it out. And also, the way you phrased it, it does make sense. Yeah, we need to talk about this, and we need to first identify this, which you have done already, identify the challenge, and then start working towards it or plan,
Yeah.
then think about it that way. So thank you very much, Sherif. This has been lovely. Looking forward to having you on Real Scientist Nano.
Sure. Thank you. I look forward to that too. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening. To know more about us, please visit our website realscientistsnano.org and follow us on Twitter at realsci_nano.